Well, hello everyone, it's Julian Berezzi, aka GoGeo4, here with you with another Sunday vlog. You guys remember when I used to do that back in the day, like 4 years ago, and I used to wear weird masks and stuff? You know, the whole story behind that was, for some reason I thought if you guys saw my face or something, like, you'd come after me or some crap, but everybody on YouTube shows their face. And like, I also thought maybe it'd be cool to have, like, a persona or something, like, that could be, because you see all these bloggers, right, but what if I had my own face, my own look, and it just felt ridiculous after a while and weird, and then it would like distort my voice. It was actually kind of inspired by this guy named Truth. If you've ever heard of him, he's another weird YouTuber who hasn't done videos in like forever. So a couple things I wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about comic books. I like comic books. You like comic books. Rulers of Earth continues to get printed. I'm sure. I think they're on volume 4. In terms of like the trade back. So like, if you know nothing about comic books get released in issues, right? They go to comic book shops, and then after like 4 or 5 issues, they put them together into one volume set. Those are the kind I buy. I know fanatics say they buy every issue, but A, you save money when you buy the volume sets, and B, you don't have to have every single issue. You have it all nice and neatly compacted into a book for you to read. Anyway, there's a new comic book series called Godzilla Cataclysm that I've kind of talked about a little bit, but I haven't really gotten to read it yet. And I've also been reading some of Rulers of Earth. I need to get both, but I really want to get Godzilla Cataclysm because so far it seems to be the most different story that's been released in the comic book series. I really liked Half Century War, but that was not really like, that was kind of an overview of many years. It was interesting to see Godzilla through different parts of history. I also have not read Legends, but I want to read Cataclysm just because it's like the idea of a post-apocalyptic world. Well, not necessarily anything new these days. With kaiju, it's pretty interesting. It's like, imagine, my friend and I were talking about it. It's like as if Pacific Rim, if they fail to stop the kaiju, right, they would destroy the world. But this time it's with Toho monsters. So I want to check it out, see what they feature. I mean, the artwork seems really cool. And then they got Megaguirus, they have Violante and Destroyer showing up, so a cool selection of monster cast. I'll probably get the volume set, and I'll let you know more about it. Now, on the other front for Star Wars, you all know, for a long time, Star Wars was printed by Dark Horse, and they did tons of comics based on like, the expanded universe and other stuff for a really long time. And now that Disney has taken over, has bought Lucasfilm, they're doing a new canon, and everything that was the expanded universe is now called Legends, and what's going to be part of the movie universe is the normal canon. You probably heard about this everywhere now. So because of that, Dark Horse comics are basically considered like irrelevant, I guess. They happened in fairy tales or a different universe. I don't even know how they're going to explain that. And now Marvel is printing Star Wars 1. And it's the first Marvel comic in 30 years. But it's also the first canon Star Wars comic. And it's important because now we have a new, like I said before, we have a new canon between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, right? Before we had 30 years of expanded universe. That's gone out the window. We now have a 30-year gap that we know nothing about yet. That is 30 years of history, stories, characters to fill in. And Marvel number 1, technically Marvel number 1 starts after A New Hope, so it's not after Return of the Jedi immediately, but there'll probably be other issues as well. And these are canon. So whatever happens in these comics is related to the original saga, and eventually down the line related to The Force Awakens. And there have been several, I think there are some actual lines that are going to be posted that come after Return of the Jedi, which that's exciting to read. And then there's, even if you watch Star Wars Rebels, the main like Jedi guy, not the young kid, but the dude, I forget his name, he's getting a comic book series now too. There's a lot of gaps now to fill between Force Awakens and Return of the Jedi. I was a little disappointed because Rebels was set before A New Hope, and I'm like, we already have tons of material that's supposed to tie that history together. You know, I don't really care. I want to know what happened after Return of the Jedi. And then as for Star Wars Battlefront, going back now to video games, nothing to really say yet. wait till E3. There hasn't even been an official announcement. As far as I can tell, it's supposed to come out this year, but it's one of those things where, you know, DICE is going to take the time they need to take. So they might say 2015, but if it's 2016, it's 2016. Which is fine because it'll be a nice, maybe if they squeeze it in between Force Awakens and whatever the Star Wars spin-off is that Gareth Edwards is doing, if they can put it kind of in the middle between those. And yeah, we haven't heard much about Gareth's new Star Wars film at all. So, rumors fly around, it's Boba Fett, it's Han Solo. For a while there's been a rumor that that dude that played Jesse in Breaking Bad was going to be Han Solo or something, which I'm like, he looks nothing like Han Solo or a young Harrison Ford, so whatever. Anyway, that is my comic book news, entertainment news for you today. Look for Marvel's Star Wars #1 in stores, and Godzilla Cataclysm if you can find it. If not, Amazon.com. That's your place to get comic books. Recommended. Anyway, have a good Sunday, guys. Take it easy.